I'm Colin here with Fast, Expand and Game Social, joined by the one, the only Mousesports HasuObs. Hasu, how are you finding the tournament so far then?
I think overall it's okay, I'd say. Yesterday we had quite a lot of delay and some problems with the network. Today it's running pretty smoothly. I think only like 30 minutes delay, which is okay. And so yeah, today is a better day, I think.
Definitely. I mean, the tournament was delayed due to, severe weather conditions, and obviously network problems and everything like that. Did it affect your travel getting here at all, or?
Actually, not at all. The travel was very smooth. Like we didn't have any delay with the flight or the train from Birmingham to Telford. So yeah, that was pretty easy actually.
That's always nice to hear. Yesterday, you had an insanely hard group. I mean, Sting and TLO, being the two main notable names there. How did you feel when you kind of got here and seen that group?
Well, and Bling was there as well.
Yeah,
you have to mention it as well. Yeah, I knew it's going to be a very tough group. I thought that Sting would make first place for sure. And then it came down to TLO, me, and Bling. That's what I thought at least. But yeah, TLO played very, very strong yesterday. Managed to get first place, which was surprising for me. And Sting played a little bit sloppy, I think. Lost some maps here and there and dropped the best of 3. So yeah, overall the most important match was against Bling, where I won 2-0, and then I knew I'm going to be at least third place. And yeah, I ended up third, which was enough to pass the group stage.
Yeah, just a fantastic performance overall, to be honest. And of course, you just beat Tefl 3-1 to advance to the round of 8. I mean, how do you feel about that? That must be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I'm very happy about those games. And I also was happy that I met Tefl in the round of 12, because I think my style is pretty good against him, and I knew exactly how he will play. And I watched the VODs of Crank against Tefl from yesterday, and I saw some holes in his play, and yeah, it worked out pretty well in the best of 5 series today. So yeah, I have to be happy with those games, and I'm looking forward to play Snoot now.
Definitely, and of course we have to talk about, again, going back to group stage, those games against Censure, which are very, very strange games. We actually seen a Facebook post about misrallying Immortals, and that actually ended up working out very well for you. How do you feel about those games? Because they were very, very kind of odd, weren't they?
Yeah, they were very, very shaky games as well. I think he's a kind of cheesy player, and I knew that from ladder. And still I managed to lose one of the games against a cheese, the Nidus network with Hydras. I was pretty upset when I lost to it, because I knew it was coming, and I still didn't manage to kill the Nidus in my main base. And then the third map, luckily for me, it went to a late game with 4 or 5 bases, where I'm usually very strong. And yeah, the Immortals were pretty funny, but I don't think they were really the game changer. I mean, there were 2 warp prisms as well, so if there are no Immortals, then I would still warp in a lot of units and kill most of the time the same structures as the Immortal did, but yeah, they definitely helped to take out some hatcheries.
Yeah, we've seen your multitasking really show in those games with the multiple warp prisms, the attacks on all fronts. I mean, he was building a massive Ultraless army, which generally you can't engage head on. Do you feel that your kind of experience and everything with the multitasking really helped you pull through those games?
Yeah, I definitely think so. In the last game against Censor, like the very late stage of the game, I think he definitely had some problems with the multitask, like probably being too slow or not really aware of how dangerous 2 war prisms are. So he took way too much damage, and his main army could never really engage my army because I was very defensive the whole time. And yeah, so that definitely was the game changer in the end.
Yeah, and of course this is your 3rd time playing in the kind of UK LAN. How do you find the UK scene compared to, I mean, you obviously travel a lot around the world playing in multiple different tournaments. How do you feel about the UK scene compared to, the kind of European LANs?
Well, pretty strong as well. You got some good players, Bling, Johnny Rico, Zigdomini, the Muslim of course. So 4 pretty good players. And yeah, I don't know, I think they are just pretty good overall if you compare them to the other European players.
Definitely. I mean, some really strong British talent showing through. Johnny Rico is about to play, I believe. He's doing, fantastically well so far, qualifying for the open bracket. Is there a particular player you would not like to kind of meet in this tournament? I mean, it's got down to the round of 8. You've got some very obviously fine progression path going on. Is there anyone you're kind of not wanting to hit, or?
I don't want to play against Red, I think. And the Koreans, I think, even though, as I said, I think both of them actually, Sting and Crank, didn't play that good yesterday. But it might be different today. Maybe they had some better sleep or feel a bit more rested. And yeah, even for GG dropped out, so all the Koreans were in the slump yesterday. I don't know why exactly, but I'm pretty sure that they will play a bit better today in the playoffs because there's much more on stake now. And so yeah, the Koreans and Red are definitely players I don't want to meet.
Definitely, Red's really on form. I mean, he went 10-1 yesterday. Of course, 5-0ing his group. I mean, all the Liquid Zags are doing very well. What do you make of kind of, well, the Team Liquid presence here today? Because obviously 3 of them are through to the round of 8 already.
TLO, and Snoot. I forgot that he's in Team Liquid. Yeah, good showing by them so far. Yeah, nothing more to add, I guess.
Of course, we have to talk about Hero Marine, 15 years old, going straight through to the round of 8 already. Fantastic player, obviously been picked up by Mouse. I mean, what do you make of him so far?
He improved quite a lot the last month, I think, or like the last 3-4 months probably. And especially when Heart of the Swarm came out, he made a huge step forward. He really understands the game pretty well. He has some good builds, obviously copied by the Korean players, but he executes it very well. I think he has pretty good mechanics as well. The only thing he lacks is experience, or like just tournament experience, I guess. So I think he has a good shot to make it to the top 3, maybe top 4 in this tournament. So yeah, I'm really happy with his performance. Last week as well, when he was playing at the 1DE Cup in Krefeld at Takes Place, he came second place, beating me, Socke, and some other good players. So yeah, he's definitely in a very good shape right now, and it's nice to see him doing that well.
Definitely. Obviously, it's nice to kind of get a teammate as well as yourself through to the round of 8. I mean, it's a very, very tough tournament. How are you finding Heart of the Swarm and kind of Protoss in general at the moment?
I think Heart of the Swarm overall is a pretty good game. It's much more enjoyable to watch, I believe. Of course, it's the early stage of the game, so it's obviously more enjoyable because more units and new units and different strategies. And like, I guess in like 8 months or something, we will probably see the same over and over again. But I'm pretty sure that Blizzard has implemented some very cool units, which give a lot of strategy, a lot of different strategies and nice tactics. So yeah, I definitely like Heart of the Swarm. And I think for Protoss, the biggest or the most important addition is the Mothership Core. You can build it very early on. It gives you a lot of vision, like it has a very high sight radius. And very powerful spells as well, and that's exactly what Protoss needed, I think. So it makes it more fun to play Protoss right now.
Yeah, the Protoss early game has really changed kind of around the Mothership Core and the abilities it has. Time Warp being very, very strong against kind of big packs of units. What do you make of the new kind of Protoss airplay? I mean, it's come into a much more light recently. Have you sort of using it, experimented with it yet, or?
Yeah, I certainly did. It's pretty strong. Like once you get to Archon, Storm, Void Ray, Tempest, and maybe a few carriers, I think, especially for Zerg, it's extremely hard to beat that army. It's kind of similar to the Broodlord Infesta army, which they had in Wings of Liberty, where I think you have to do a lot of like multi-prong harassment, and you have to try to avoid the army and hope that your opponent makes a mistake by having some problems in the multitask or splitting his army, something like this. Otherwise, it's going to be extremely tough to beat the Protoss, like very late game army, when you have like 3/3 upgrades and 200 supply air units. But there's a lot of timings where Zerg can hit before you get to this, like the Roach Hydra Viper or Roach Hydra Corruptor, or even some kind of swarm host tactics are very dangerous for Protoss. So yeah, I think even though once you get to that point, it's kind of similar to Wings of Liberty, it's still, overall it's better balanced, I guess, from my feeling at least. But we will see how Blizzard will address it with some patches. I guess they will nerf the Void Ray damage by a little bit, that's my feeling, but even then it should be pretty strong overall.
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing a lot more kind of innovation with the new, Heart of the Swarm from Protoss. Less of the kind of the same old, as you said earlier. I think we'll let you go now. Was there any sort of last shout-outs you'd like to do to your sponsors, or where we can find you on Twitter, etc.?
You can find me on Facebook /HasuObs, and on Twitter it's MouseHasuObs. Whoa. And thanks for the interview. Thanks to my team, to all the sponsors and partners, and thanks for cheering for me.
Lovely, thank you. Thank you very much, Dennis.